News spread rapidly as we walked through Parliament Square. Across Britain, hope was in the air. Conversations in cafes near Westminster and headlines across Sunday newspapers focused on one idea: King William V shaping the monarchy for the 21st century. The king greeted the public with a wave from his car as he departed Clarence House in London earlier today. As the day progressed, attention turned toward Windsor, not with sorrow, but with optimism for a new beginning. Only days after receiving a blessing at Westminster Abbey from the Archbishop of Canterbury, Princess Catherine and Prince William made their first public appearance together. Royal insiders described this as the dawn of a shared reign. With King Charles III now under medical supervision and resting at Sandringham, he has officially handed over daily royal responsibilities to his son and daughter-in-law. The Archbishop's blessing wasn't merely a ritual. It symbolized continuity, stability, and trust. Standing beneath the same arches where Charles had been crowned 2 years earlier, the Archbishop's words carried deep meaning. As this crown moves through hands of service, may it be held with duty. It was Princess Anne, however, who created one of the day's most memorable moments. She stepped forward to present Catherine with the new Queen Consort's crown, crafted by Gerard and Company, the royal jeweler since 1735. The crown, adorned with Burmese rubies, sapphires, and diamonds from Queen Elizabeth's collection, stood as a symbol of legitimacy and respect. A statement from the palace revealed that 2 versions of the crown exist: a main version stored in the Tower of London for major state occasions, and a lighter ceremonial version, which Catherine wore briefly during her blessing. As the Abbey bells echoed through London afterward, onlookers were captivated by the princess's composure. One observer noted, she wasn't just receiving a crown, she was accepting a nation's trust. A few hours later, William and Catherine made their first official appearance as the new leaders of the monarchy in Windsor. Thousands gathered along the Long Walk, waving Union Jacks and holding flowers. Many wore badges reading, "For the future, William and Catherine." The mood was electric yet heartfelt. It felt like a family reunion long overdue. William led with calm authority and humility, seemingly aware of the responsibility before him. Catherine, dressed elegantly in a dove-gray coat, greeted the crowd with her signature warmth, making everyone feel acknowledged. Children offered hand-drawn cards, and she knelt to thank them, her face lighting up with joy. An elderly veteran leaned forward and whispered, "God bless the new queen." With a soft smile, she replied, "God bless the king." This moment was more than a simple walkabout. It symbolized a quiet but profound transfer of duty. Palace insiders were quick to stress that this was not the start of a regency, but a shared stewardship. "They are co-stewards, equals in the storm," one aide said. Notably absent was Queen Camilla. Clarence House explained her absence as reflection time following the morning's events, though her absence didn't go unnoticed. Westminster crowned the title. "Windsor showed who wears the soul," one commentator remarked. Social media erupted with hashtags like "Blessing of the Future," "Crown of Catherine," and "The Anchor." Admirers praised Catherine and Princess Anne, with many calling Anne the steady force keeping the royals grounded. A mother from Nottingham, overcome with emotion, told cameras, "It's full circle, from stiff duty to real heart." Despite the meticulous planning, the day's events felt authentic and spontaneous. William and Catherine opted for minimal security, reflecting confidence and openness. William knelt to place a child's bouquet of wildflowers at the roots of the King Charles III Memorial Oak, a quiet gesture honoring their lineage. Catherine stood beside him, aware that every action was etching their legacy in history. Cameras captured a poignant image of Catherine and Princess Anne holding hands at the close of the ceremony, their silent connection embodying unity and strength. Major news outlets like BBC, Sky, and ITV all shared the same sentiment. This wasn't a coronation, but a consecration, a sacred, unscripted handover of responsibility. Yet, behind the palace walls, not everyone shared in the celebration. Friends of Camilla expressed concern over how swiftly the transition unfolded. One senior courtier confided, "The Queen gave the throne years of stability, and now, days later, everything's changing." It feels sudden, but the public seems comfortable with it. A YouGov poll confirmed that 84% of Britons believe the timing was right. Catherine's popularity has soared since 2022, with widespread admiration and support. Images of her bowing to Princess Anne as the crown hovered above her head went viral across the globe. CNN described it as the decade's most powerful image, emphasizing that this was not just a transfer of jewels, but of trust and duty. As the sun set over Windsor, bells rang, not in mourning but in hope, marking a new beginning. William and Catherine waved goodbye, signaling their readiness to lead. The following morning, Buckingham Palace buzzed with renewed energy. Anne's crowning of Catherine had gone viral overnight, yet the palace atmosphere was more strategic than celebratory. Behind closed doors, questions arose about who was now truly in command. Camilla remained at the center of speculation. Officials explained that she was stepping back to focus on King Charles's health, but her absence from both the Abbey and Windsor events raised eyebrows. Palace staff carefully referred to her whereabouts as private time at Ray Mill. Those close to her felt she was being quietly sidelined. Watching the events from afar, one friend noted, Anne's words were touching, but the real message was clear. Catherine is now the leader everyone looks to. For those who have observed the royal family for decades, this shift feels extraordinary. Following the blessing, palace communications underwent subtle but telling changes. Duties once split between Buckingham and Clarence are now centered in Wales, labeled merely as a temporary adjustment. Observers, however, suspect deeper implications. Though Charles approved the decision after a medical consultation, rumors suggest Anne was the driving force behind it. As one insider reportedly told the king, "Relax, brother. They're ready." The phrase "they're ready" soon became the new motto, simple yet powerful. Windsor appeared to be signaling a farewell to the traditional ways and embracing a fresher, more dynamic approach. Catherine's leadership, showcased through the Commonwealth Forum, gained momentum right after her blessing. Her calendar quickly filled as she hosted a luncheon for Commonwealth youth ambassadors at Kensington Palace, focusing on education and innovation and proving she was prepared to take on greater responsibility. The public response was overwhelmingly positive, with the Times of London calling her the people's diplomat. Yet, within palace walls, tension brewed. Shortly after the blessing, Camilla's private secretary resigned, and several staff members were reassigned, signaling an internal power shift. Princess Anne worked to maintain balance, visiting Charles regularly and emphasizing family unity. When asked if the changes were permanent, Anne replied, "The crown doesn't wait for comfort, it waits for courage." Her remark highlighted the contrast between Anne's openness and Camilla's growing silence. While Camilla's friends claimed she remained a loyal companion to the king, her public role diminished as Catherine stepped into the spotlight. Speculation of a dual monarchy began to surface, suggesting that William and Catherine might share royal responsibilities. The Archbishop of Canterbury noted that a blessing prepares hearts for leadership, appearing to validate Catherine's rising influence. She continued to stay active, visiting children's hospices and preparing to lead the Commonwealth Youth Forum, demonstrating her growing importance. Those close to Charles said he was proud of Catherine and encouraged her to shine. The shifting balance of power became clear as William and Catherine assumed greater duties, marking the start of a new royal era. The Sandringham visit symbolized renewal for the nation. As the afternoon sun cast a golden glow, the motorcade arrived to warm applause and waving flags. It was the first public appearance since the blessing, and anticipation filled the air. Thousands had gathered to witness the moment. Although Charles wasn't seen, the white roses and ringing church bells reflected his spiritual presence. William and Kate emerged side by side, dressed simply in navy, sending a clear message of unity and purpose. They walked a familiar path with genuine smiles, deeply engaged with the crowd. The event honored those who had supported Charles through his quieter years, while highlighting the new leadership emerging before the public. Catherine's conversation with an elderly gardener, who offered her white lilies for the king, showed her warmth and compassion. William took time to speak with scouts, stressing the value of service performed without recognition. Inside, Anne presided over the gathering with calm strength, reminding everyone that the crown represents duty, not privilege. Catherine later reflected on Anne's words, finding them deeply meaningful. As twilight descended, Catherine met with leaders from various organizations, focusing on building real connections over superficial displays, signaling a shift toward community-driven initiatives. Meanwhile, Camilla's team expressed frustration at feeling pushed aside and struggled with the changing media narrative, exposing internal friction. Charles, however, admired Catherine's efforts and acknowledged the stability she brought. As invitations to the youth forum went out, many informally referred to Catherine as Her Majesty the Queen Consort Designate, marking a quiet yet unmistakable transition. In private, Catherine and Anne recognized the magnitude of what was unfolding. What began as a simple handover had evolved into a defining new chapter, one driven by Catherine's vision and hope for the future. New dawn broke over Westminster, with light rain as the Commonwealth Youth Forum began. Delegates from more than 40 countries filled the hall, young leaders, cultural icons, and voices of faith, all ready to listen. Catherine entered in a sharp ivory suit, her crown of service glinting in the light. Speaking from the heart without notes, she filled the room with warmth. "The Commonwealth isn't about maps," she said. "It's about faith, leading through service." The audience erupted in applause, and many veterans compared her presence to that of a statesman. Catherine mingled freely, discussing education, women's empowerment, and environmental initiatives. She even sat cross-legged on the floor with children from Nairobi and Delhi, sharing laughter and listening to their dreams. Cameras captured her natural connection, symbolizing unity and compassion. Watching proudly, Anne whispered to a Foreign Office official, "She's nailed it. True power doesn't demand." Meanwhile, in Wiltshire, Camilla attended a modest literacy event. Though noticed, her appearance was overshadowed by Catherine's radiance. Her team called it a strategic decision, but public attention was firmly on Catherine. That evening, Catherine closed the forum with a moving message. "The Crown's role is to remind, not command. Compassion is our strength." The audience responded with a standing ovation that lasted 2 minutes, with commentators hailing her speech as Gen Z's anthem. Newspapers the next morning declared, "Queen Catherine charges the Commonwealth ahead," accompanied by an image of Catherine and Anne holding hands under a banner. In Sandringham, Charles watched with quiet pride, recognizing Catherine's role in uniting the Commonwealth. As night fell across London, one truth stood clear. Catherine did not need a crown to lead. Her authenticity, kindness, and transformative spirit spoke volumes. As Christmas approached, the monarchy seemed to be experiencing a gentle rebirth. Charles, resting at Sandringham under medical advice, avoided public engagements, using the time for reflection. He was preparing to pass more responsibilities to the next generation. Acting as queen, Catherine took charge of the holiday season, focusing on heartfelt connection over spectacle, with carols at the Abbey, walks at Sandringham, and decorations crafted by children to symbolize shared joy. Even Anne smiled, saying, "This year feels different and gentler." On December 23rd, Catherine addressed a special gathering at Westminster Abbey, standing at the same lectern where Queen Elizabeth II last spoke. Her voice was calm yet powerful as she urged compassion, unity, and community. The crown rested nearby, not on her head, an image that resonated deeply and quickly spread, earning her the title the People's Queen. A gradual shift in leadership continued. Charles's period of rest appeared likely to extend as William and Catherine took on more duties. No formal regency title had been declared, yet the transition was unmistakable. The monarchy's stability now rested on Anne's steady guidance, Catherine's warmth, and Charles's support from behind the scenes. Camilla's influence waned quietly. As William and Catherine departed Sandringham, their message was clear. The monarchy had entered a new age, one defined not by tradition alone, but by courage, compassion, and quiet transformation. The crown stands ready to embrace the present, ushering in a monarchy reborn through empathy. Catherine's role is far more than a duty. It's her passion. She has poured months of work, late-night sketches, and unwavering dedication into shaping it. Her mission centers on unity and shared purpose in a divided world, something Anne immediately supported. Together, they have formed a powerful partnership. Catherine connects people, while Anne provides steadfast backing. The palace team ensures that Charles and Wills can lead seamlessly. Catherine's approach, however, marks a shift. She favors genuine conversations about girls' education and climate change over formal dinners. In doing so, she has drawn scholars from across the globe into her orbit. According to a Foreign Office expert, she's redefining royal influence by focusing on meaningful dialogue. Her choice of the Gerard Crown of Service further reflects her deep commitment to ethical leadership. At the same time, Camilla faces mounting challenges. Postponed charity events have raised concerns about her place in the evolving royal landscape. Wills speaks with her, reminding her that progress demands change. Observers note subtle signs of a power shift, yet Catherine remains grounded, focused on her vision for a forum amplifying youth voices. She values teamwork above individual spotlight, and her message resonates widely across social media. Watching from Sandringham, Charles feels immense pride in the legacy Catherine is building, ensuring that every detail remains connected. It is a reign marked by quiet grace. Within Camilla's circle, the atmosphere has grown cold. She's increasingly excluded from strategic discussions and press briefings. One aide confides that she now reads the newspapers at dawn, scanning headlines only to find her stories missing. It feels like the closing of a quiet chapter. Meanwhile, at Westminster Hall, Catherine and Anne stand beside Charles's coronation seat. As Catherine places her hand on it, she softly says, "Still his?" Anne replies, "One day yours. What matters is you've earned it." In that moment, trust passes seamlessly from one generation to the next. The monarchy is transforming, soon to be guided by a woman with a small crown and vast hopes. Her reign promises to embody empathy and connection. When morning breaks, every newspaper will proclaim, "She's here," and the crown feels light. But is Anne's remark, "You've earned it," a promise or a challenge? What do you think of this royal shift? Share your thoughts below. Here's to the quiet queens,